Welcome to Mojo. Python types are essential to understand, especially when working with Mojo, as they require seamless conversion between Python and Mojo objects. When calling Python methods in Mojo, there's a need to convert between native Python and Mojo objects. While most conversions happen automatically, some cases require explicit handling. Mojo primitive types like lists, tuples, integers, floats, booleans, and strings seamlessly convert into Python objects. Let's see this in action. Create a Python file named myPython. In this file, we define a function named typePrinter, which essentially uses the Python built-in type function to print the type of object. We pass some value, and then this function print its type. Now we make a file named main.mojo. First, we import the Python class in Mojo. In the main function, now we import our Python file. First, we use add to path method, as was in previous video. If you are unfamiliar of this, please watch my video on Python integration. As file is in our current path. Now we call import module function for myPython. Now we call our Python function with this object. In this function, we pass different data types and check their values. Hence, you can see that we are passing Mojo types in Python function with no problem. Mojo primitive types like int, string, float, lists, tuples, and booleans, etc. implicitly convert into Python objects. But it's not a one-way street. You can utilize Python objects within Mojo as well. Even though Mojo lacks a standard dictionary type, you can still work with Python dictionaries in Mojo. Let's see the Python types like dictionary in Mojo. Mojo doesn't have a standard dictionary type yet, but you can work with Python dictionaries in Mojo. To create a Python dictionary, use the dict method. Here we are using Python dictionaries in Mojo. Now we add key-value pairs in this dictionary. Now we run this. Now we discuss about Mojo wrapper objects. When you use Python objects in your Mojo code, Mojo adds the Python object wrapper around the Python object. This object exposes a number of common double underscore methods, dunder methods. You can explicitly create a wrapped Python object by initializing a Python object with a Mojo literal. This is now a Python list. Most of the time, you can treat the wrapped object just like you treat it in Python. You can use Python's bracket operators to access an item in a list, and use dot notation to access attributes and call methods.
Creating wrapped Python objects is straightforward. You can initialize a Python object with a Mojo literal and interact with it just like you would in Python. While most Mojo APIs handle Python objects smoothly, there are instances where explicit conversion is necessary. Now in this use, PySet method. We are using evaluate method, which executes the given Python code and returns Python object containing the result of the evaluation. In this, there is a set declaration. The dunder method contains tell that rather this value is present in the set or not. Now, Comparing Python types in Mojo is achievable through Python's type and is type methods, providing clarity on object identity. First, we declare some variables. This is of type Python object. Now we use evaluate function. We can also write float. The value 3 is type float. If you need to know the type of the underlying Python object, you can use the Python.type method, which is equivalent to the Python type built in. You can compare the identity of two Python objects using the Python.isType method, which is equivalent to the Python is operator. The Python.isType method is misleadingly named since it doesn't compare types but object identity. Thank you so much for your interaction. Please like, share, and subscribe.